Welcome to News 2 Gives Back. We do this every Wednesday. We visit a sheriff's department, a fire station, whatnot, and brought to you by Nashville Subaru in conjunction with the Nashville Predators. We thank them for being the sponsors because we brought lunch to the Bedford County Sheriff's Department today. And here with me is Sheriff Austin Swing. We're glad to be here, Sheriff. Thank you for letting us come here.
Hey, we're glad you're here, and the lunch is going to be great.
All righty. Well, you guys have been in the news a lot lately, and of course, the big thing that everybody remembers the most is the bell buckle incident where these motorcyclists decided to drive onto the race course, where the runners were. Tell us about that.
Well, as you know, bell buckle is a growing part of the county, and there's always something pretty much going on in bell buckle. Excuse me, but however, we were not obviously planning on a situation like we had, but it was right at the I think it was the strolling gym run and the bell buckle, the things that they had going on, and just out of nowhere a couple of motorcyclists came through, and actually one of them, the officers tried to stop them as they were stopping all the traffic, but when they got into the downtown bell buckle area, they hit, or one of the motorcycles actually hit, I believe it was one of the runners, and I think he was pretty seriously injured, and then they took off. And it was really, my first thoughts were this is going to be really hard to solve because neither motorcycle, to the best of my remembrance, had a license plate on them, and the guys that were on the motorcycle had on helmets and shields. So there wasn't a whole lot to go by, but our officers and our CID, as well as the Rutherford County CID and police officers or deputies, were able to get together and solve and find out who the two guys were that were on the motorcycles. So I think one of them was out of Rutherford County and one of them was out of Cannon County. So I don't know if it was a planned thing to come through and crash the party, so to speak, or if it was just, we're here now, what do we do? And so anyway, what they did was not good, but we were fortunate and able to identify them and make arrests.
Congratulations to y'all in Cannon County and Rutherford County for all working together to find those guys, and I guess at least the color of the motorcycles and people's descriptions helped out a lot there. Now, one of your deputies was mentioning a moment ago another recent incident we had on Channel 2. Tell us about that one.
Well, it was a case involving child sexual abuse, and our CID, and you were talking to Savannah, and they worked that, and I think once the arrests were made, put it on our web page, and Channel 2, I believe, picked it up and did a story on it. So, it's like everywhere. We're busy, and they're keeping us going, but that's what we're for.
Well, I was talking to you earlier. Bedford County has grown so much, and you guys got a lot of territory to cover. It's not a small county; it's a big county. And I mean, tell us about how the county's grown and how many different towns that you could mention. Like we have to mention on Storm Tracker when a storm goes through.
Yeah, well, I think it's all of Middle Tennessee. I know when they were building this complex that we're in right now, a couple of 3 years ago, the people that were building it were from, I think, West Tennessee, or at least the architect was. And I remember him mentioning, he said, Middle Tennessee is just exploded. He said, I've never seen such growth. And being in Middle Tennessee has obviously affected us. Our population is now over 50,000. And when I started law enforcement, I would be willing to say it was half of that. I heard the other day that this is not official, but that we were growing 1,000 people a year. And I know there's some counties obviously growing faster than that, but that's fast enough for me anyway. But yes, we are. We're right between Nashville, Tennessee and Huntsville, Alabama, 15 miles north of Jack Daniel Distillery. We now have our own distillery, Uncle Nearest Green, which is on the 231, which is between Murfreesboro and Shelbyville. So I think it is one of the most visited distilleries in the nation. I heard that just the other day. So yeah, it's a lot going on. MTSU is starting or fixing to start their aviation part of their school in the or at the Shelbyville Airport, which is actually just right across the highway from where we're at right now. So it's growing fast, as everybody else around us, I'm sure, is too.
So you guys got a lot of ground to cover now. The Walking Horse celebration is coming up soon, which I'm sure that keeps you guys busy. What do y'all do with a big event like that? How are y'all involved?
Well, we just had a meeting just last week, and it involved, and I know if I start naming, I'll forget somebody, but all the law enforcement agencies, being the Tennessee Highway Patrol, as well as the Shelbyville Police and Bedford County Sheriff's Department, both city and county fire departments, just everybody, particularly people, at least on our end, that's in the emergency business. We had a meeting and we always do this every year and come up with a sort of a plan. The horse show is really, I think, on its way back. They've had some hard times the last decade or so, but I was listening to their chairman out there talk just the other day, and he said next year there probably would not be a weekend out of the year that something wouldn't be going on inside the horse show grounds, whether it be on the inside arena or the outside. So it's really doing well and moving along, so we're happy for that too, because that's a big part of Shelbyville and Bedford County, always has been.
Right. Well, it's fantastic. Sheriff Swing, thank you so much for having us here, and hope you guys enjoy the lunch there. And
We will.
It's great to come back down to Shelbyville here, and Shelbyville, I got to say it right.
Shelbyville.
Yeah, Shelbyville. It's like the people up in Kentucky, Louisville, you know. But anyway, once again, we want to thank everybody. It's News 2 Gives Back, brought to you by Nashville Subaru in conjunction with the Nashville Predators. And thank you once again for joining us. Thank you again, Sheriff Swing.